Welcome to the Simple Understanding channel. I'm excited to have you join us for our Certified in Planning and Inventory Management CPIM preparation course. In this video, we'll guide you through a comprehensive practice test designed to boost your exam readiness and set you up for success. If you're just joining us, be sure to check out the earlier videos in the CPIM playlist, where we explained every module of the 8 modules of CPIM curriculum. To help make your studies smoother, I've prepared some valuable resources that you can download from the description below. A comprehensive study ebook. This is packed with everything you need to succeed, from supply chain fundamentals to advanced strategies. Multiple choice questions with detailed answers. These will help you get familiar with the exam format and difficulty level. A glossary of key terms, organized by module to help you easily track your progress and follow along with the material. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. And as always, stay tuned for upcoming videos and resources. Let's begin with CPIM Module 1, Supply Chains and Strategy. Question 1. Which of the following best describes a pull system in supply chain strategy? A. Production is based on forecasted demand. B. Production is triggered by actual customer demand. C. Inventory is accumulated to meet seasonal spikes. D. Capacity utilization is maximized regardless of orders. Correct answer. B. Explanation. A pull system responds directly to customer orders rather than forecasting, minimizing excess inventory and waste. Question 2. A company pursuing a low-cost leadership strategy would most likely prioritize which supply chain characteristic? A. Maximum flexibility to customer customization. B. Highest levels of service responsiveness. C. Streamlined operations and cost efficiency. D. Extensive supplier collaboration and R&D investment. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Low-cost strategies depend on lean operations, standardization, and cost minimization across the supply chain. Question 3. Which is a primary risk when extending a firm's supply chain globally? A. Decrease in customer demand. B. Increase in regulatory compliance complexity. C. Shorter product life cycles. D. Decline in domestic supplier base strength. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Global supply chains must navigate complex international regulations, tariffs, customs, and political risks. Question 4. If total cycle inventory is reduced by 20%, what would be the expected immediate impact on working capital? A. Increase. B. No effect. C. Decrease. D. Fluctuate unpredictably. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Lower inventory reduces working capital tied up in assets, freeing cash flow for other uses. Question 5. Which of the following most accurately reflects an outcome of applying the triple bottom line approach? A. Reduced focus on profitability. B. Balanced emphasis on social, environmental, and financial performance. C. Elimination of cost considerations. D. Expansion into only high-margin markets. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The triple bottom line integrates social responsibility, environmental stewardship, and financial success. Question 6. Which performance metric best measures supply chain responsiveness? A. Return on assets, ROA. B. Order fulfillment cycle time. C. Supplier defect rate. D. Days sales outstanding, DSO. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Responsiveness is the speed of fulfilling customer needs, measured by cycle time from order to delivery. Question 7. Which type of facility layout is most suitable for a custom order manufacturer producing low-volume, high-variety products? A. Product layout. B. Process layout. C. Cellular layout. D. Fixed position layout. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Process layouts group similar resources together, offering flexibility ideal for varied custom production. Question 8. A manufacturing firm's capital equipment has a book value of $500,000, an expected useful life of 10 years, and no salvage value. What is the straight-line annual depreciation expense? A. $5,000. B. $25,000. C. $50,000. D. $100,000. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Depreciation equals initial cost, salvage value, divided by useful life equals $500,000, 0, divided by 10 equals $50,000 per year. Question 9. Which supply chain strategy is most vulnerable to disruptions, such as natural disasters or political instability? A. Global sourcing. B. Local sourcing. C. Just-in-case inventory strategy. D. Flexible manufacturing systems. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Global sourcing introduces geographic and political risks, increasing exposure to disruption. Question 10. Which of the following KPIs would most directly help in assessing the effectiveness of a risk mitigation plan? A. Inventory turnover rate. B. Supply disruption frequency. C. Customer churn rate. D. Average sales price. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Monitoring disruption frequency reveals how effective risk management efforts have been in stabilizing supply. Question 11. In an operational strategy, tactical planning typically focuses on A. Setting corporate vision and mission. B. Monitoring competitor strategies. C. Determining production schedules and inventory policies. D. Building long-term supplier relationships. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Tactical plans manage medium-term operational elements like scheduling and inventory to meet strategic goals. Question 12. Which environment most closely matches a make-to-stock production strategy? A. Low volume, high variety. B. High volume, low variety. C. Engineer-to-order environment. D. Assemble-to-order environment. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Make-to-stock is suited for standardized, high-volume goods where products are built in anticipation of demand. Question 13. Which sustainability strategy would most directly reduce carbon emissions across a company's supply chain? A. Increasing product SKUs. B. Localizing supplier networks. C. Expanding into global markets. D. Investing in faster transportation methods. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Local supplier networks minimize transportation distances, cutting emissions and reducing the carbon footprint. Question 14. A company's asset turnover ratio improved from 2.5 to 3.0 over the year. Which interpretation is most accurate? A. The company's assets are being utilized less efficiently. B. The company's assets are generating more sales relative to their value. C. The company is holding more inventory. D. The company's liabilities increased relative to assets. Correct answer. B. Explanation. A higher asset turnover means each dollar of assets generates more revenue, reflecting improved efficiency. Question 15. Which of the following most accurately explains the role of a strategic business unit, SBU, structure? A. To centralize authority across the enterprise. B. To allow separate units to develop independent strategies aligned with corporate goals. C. To focus only on operational improvements. D. To eliminate the need for a unified mission statement. Correct answer. B. Explanation. SBUs operate semi-independently, allowing for flexibility while supporting overall corporate strategic objectives. Question 16. Which strategic factor most often drives a company to select a functional organizational structure? A. Need for decentralized decision-making. B. Requirement for specialized expertise and operational efficiency. C. Focus on cross-functional innovation. D. High degree of customization in products. Correct answer, B. Explanation. A functional structure groups activities by specialization, aiming for operational efficiency and clear expertise. Question 17. Which supply chain design decision would most strongly support a responsive supply chain strategy? A. Investing heavily in just-in-time systems. B. Building excess inventory at every node. C. Outsourcing only to low-cost countries. D. Consolidating all distribution into a few central hubs. Correct answer, A. Explanation. Responsive supply chains emphasize speed and flexibility, which just-in-time systems support by reducing lead times. Question 18. In the context of supply chain strategy, strategic fit primarily refers to A. Adapting customer service levels based on competitor actions. B. Aligning supply chain capabilities with product market requirements. C. Merging with competitors to gain supply chain synergies. D. Setting internal performance targets without external benchmarking. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Strategic fit ensures that supply chain operations are built to meet the needs of the target market and product. Question 19. In a risk management framework, what is the primary purpose of a risk register? A. Forecast future revenues. B. Document, prioritize, and track mitigation of identified risks. C. Maintain supplier contact details. D. Analyze product pricing strategies. Correct answer, B. Explanation. A risk register systematically records identified risks, assigns ownership, prioritizes them, and tracks mitigation actions. Question 20. What is the immediate financial effect if a company reduces its facilities' downtime by 15% without adding new resources? A. Increased capital expenditures. B. Decreased return on investment. C. Improved asset utilization rate. D. Decreased capacity buffer. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Reducing downtime makes better use of existing assets, increasing their utilization rate without new investment. Question 21. Which supply chain environment typically requires the most adaptive layout and flow design? A. Continuous flow production. B. Job shop production. C. Assembly line production. D. Mass customization production. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Job shop environments handle low volume, high variety work requiring flexible layout and flow to accommodate varying products. Question 22. Which is the best example of an internal risk factor in supply chain management? A. Exchange rate fluctuation. B. Production equipment failure. C. Political instability in a supplier's country. D. New environmental legislation. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Internal risks originate within the company's operations, such as equipment failure or workforce disruptions. Question 23. A firm introduces energy-efficient manufacturing processes that cut electricity use by 20%. Which sustainability dimension is most impacted? A. Social. B. Environmental. C. Governance. D. Strategic. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Reducing energy consumption directly benefits the environmental dimension of sustainability. Question 24. In supply chain KPI tracking, which measure most directly evaluates operational cost efficiency? A. Perfect order fulfillment. B. Cash-to-cash cycle time. C. Supply chain management cost as a percentage of sales. D. customer retention rate. Correct answer, C. Explanation. This KPI compares total supply chain operating costs relative to revenues, assessing operational cost management efficiency. Question 25. What is the primary objective of using process layouts in manufacturing facilities? A. Minimize raw material use. B. Maximize machine specialization. C. Minimize customer lead time. D. Maximize workforce efficiency and flexibility. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Process layouts allow sharing of specialized equipment and adaptable workflows, optimizing workforce use and flexibility. Question 26. Which statement best captures the idea of an organization's strategic business unit, SBU, autonomy? A. Each SBU sets goals completely unrelated to corporate strategy. B. Each SBU operates independently but aligns strategic direction with corporate goals. C. SBUs must use identical processes and products to maintain corporate identity. D. SBUs act only as operational branches without strategic responsibilities. Correct answer, B. Explanation. SBUs have independence in operations, but their strategic plans still align with the parent company's objectives. Question 27. A company's warehouse redesign reduces the travel distance per order picked by 40%. Which primary KPI is expected to improve? A. Inventory turnover. B. Order picking accuracy. C. Order cycle time. D. Customer satisfaction rating. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Reducing travel distance directly speeds up order picking, shortening the time to complete customer orders. Question 28. Which risk mitigation strategy best addresses the risk of a single-source supplier failure? A. Increased demand forecasts. B. Dual sourcing. C. Outsourcing. D. Asset write-off. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Dual sourcing reduces dependence on a single supplier, ensuring continuity if one supplier fails. Question 29. A company's asset base includes $10 million in facilities and $3 million in equipment. Annual depreciation is $1.3 million. What is the book value after 2 years? A. $10.4 million. B. $9.7 million. C. $11.4 million. D. $8.7 million. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Initial total asset value equals $10 million plus $3 million equals $13 million. After 2 years, depreciation equals $1.3 million times 2 equals $2.6 million. Book value equals $13 million to $2.6 million equals $10.4 million. Question 30. Which sustainability approach focuses mainly on proactively designing products for easier end-of-life recycling? A. Corporate philanthropy. B. Design for environment, DFE. C. Carbon-neutral operations. D. Social responsibility initiative. Correct answer, B. Explanation. DFE strategies integrate recycling and disposal considerations during product design to minimize environmental impact. Let's begin with Module 2, Sales and Operations Planning. Question 1. Which of the following is the primary purpose of the Sales and Operations Planning (S&OP) process? A. To create detailed shop floor schedules. B. To balance supply and demand at the aggregate level. C. To establish departmental operating budgets. D. To negotiate supplier contracts. Correct answer, B. Explanation. S&OP focuses on aligning supply and demand across the organization at an aggregate level, balancing plans to meet business goals. Question 2. During S&OP meetings, senior management should focus on A. Reviewing tactical level manufacturing schedules. B. Adjusting supplier payment terms. C. Aligning operational plans with strategic objectives. D. Approving employee overtime requests. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Senior management ensures that operational plans remain consistent with the company's overall strategic direction. Question 3. Which of the following best describes a mature S&OP process? A. Sales plans are created separately from supply plans. B. Cross-functional collaboration drives consensus-based planning. C. Marketing leads the process without involving operations. D. Departments submit independent forecasts for aggregation. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Mature S&OP processes involve close collaboration between functions, leading to aligned, consensus-driven plans. Question 4. A company that experiences frequent back orders and lost sales is likely suffering from poor performance, in which S&OP objective? A. Maximizing resource utilization. B. Ensuring supply meets demand. C. Reducing lead times. D. Controlling overhead costs. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Inadequate synchronization of supply to meet demand results in service failures, such as back orders and lost sales. Question 5. Which plan is typically the output of the aggregate planning stage in S&OP? A. Master Production Schedule, MPS. B. Procurement Plan. C. Workforce Training Plan. D. Business Acquisition Plan. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Aggregate planning generates high-level supply plans that feed into detailed schedules, such as the MPS. Question 6. If a company uses chase production strategy during aggregate planning, it primarily adjusts A. Inventory levels only. B. Workforce levels and production rates. C. Demand forecasts through promotions. D. Product design to reduce costs. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Chase strategy matches production rates and labor capacity closely to changing demand, minimizing inventory. Question 7. Which of the following best describes a level production strategy during aggregate planning? A. Match production rate to exact monthly demand. B. Maintain a steady production rate and absorb demand variability through inventory. C. Hire and fire workers as needed to match demand. D. Prioritize production of only high-margin products. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Level strategies maintain consistent output and use inventory to manage seasonal or monthly demand fluctuations. Question 8. In S&OP reconciliation, when supply exceeds projected demand significantly, the best first action would be to A. Immediately lay off employees. B. Initiate promotional campaigns or sales incentives. C. Shut down production lines permanently. D. Invest in new production equipment. Correct answer. B. Explanation. When supply is higher than demand, increasing sales through promotions is a faster corrective action than cutting capacity. Question 9. Which reconciliation technique is most appropriate when demand and supply cannot be balanced easily during S&OP? A. Accept all production orders regardless of forecast. B. Prioritize products based on profitability and strategic importance. C. Decrease all forecast quantities by a fixed percentage. D. Eliminate least profitable customers. Correct answer. B. Explanation. When reconciliation is difficult, firms prioritize resources toward the most profitable or strategically important products. Question 10. What is a critical success factor for an effective S&OP reconciliation meeting? A. Only involve the supply chain department. B. Focus exclusively on minimizing production costs. C. Make cross-functional decisions based on transparent data. D. Avoid escalation of unresolved issues to senior management. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Successful S&OP reconciliation depends on transparent data-driven decision-making across all functions involved. Let's begin with Module 3, Demand Management. Question 1. Which of the following best defines the role of demand management in the supply chain? A. Estimating production lead times. B. Creating detailed work instructions. C. Balancing customer requirements with supply capabilities. D. Managing material handling equipment efficiency. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Demand management aligns customer needs with supply chain resources to ensure service levels and cost efficiency. Question 2. Which activity is most critical for effective demand shaping? A. Monitoring inventory turnover. B. Designing promotional campaigns. C. Adjusting supplier delivery schedules. D. Improving picking speed in warehouses. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Demand shaping uses marketing tactics like promotions to influence actual customer demand toward available supply. Question 3. Which of the following is the most likely characteristic of independent demand items? A. Directly derived from the demand for another item. B. Scheduled based on parent component consumption. C. Forecasted based on external market trends. D. Always controlled through material requirements planning, MRP. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Independent demand originates outside the company and must be forecasted based on customer or market behaviors. Question 4. Which demand forecasting method would most likely provide the highest responsiveness to recent demand shifts? A. Moving average. B. Exponential smoothing with a high alpha value. C. Linear regression analysis. D. Delphi method. Correct answer. B. Explanation. A high alpha in exponential smoothing emphasizes recent data, making forecasts sensitive to recent changes. Question 5. A forecaster notices a strong seasonal pattern in sales data. Which forecasting model adjustment is most appropriate? A. Apply a trend-based linear regression model. B. Use simple exponential smoothing. C. Incorporate a seasonal index into the forecast. D. Decrease the forecast bias manually. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Seasonal indices adjust forecasts to account for predictable fluctuations at different times of the year. Question 6. Which statement best describes qualitative forecasting techniques? A. They're exclusively used for commodity products. B. They rely on expert judgment rather than historical data. C. They automatically adjust based on historical sales. D. They're the most accurate method for stable markets. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Qualitative forecasting depends on subjective inputs when historical data is insufficient or unreliable. Question 7. Which situation would most likely result in dependent demand for an item? A. Demand for finished laptops driving the need for laptop batteries. B. Seasonal spike in clothing purchases. C. Sudden increase in gasoline prices. D. New product launch in an unrelated category. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Dependent demand arises when the need for one item is linked directly to another, such as components and assemblies. Question 8. Which forecast performance metric measures the average size of the forecast error, without regard to direction? A. Mean absolute deviation MAD. B. Mean squared error MESI. C. Tracking signal. D. Forecast bias. Correct answer. A. Explanation. MAD calculates the mean of the absolute errors, ignoring whether the forecast was too high or too low. Question 9. If a forecast consistently underestimates actual demand, what will the tracking signal most likely indicate? A. Positive value. B. Negative value. C. Value close to zero. D. No change in value. Correct answer. A. Explanation. A positive tracking signal shows that actual demand is higher than forecasted consistently. Question 10. A company calculates a MAD of 10 units and an average actual demand of 200 units. What is the forecast accuracy percentage? A. 5%. B. 90%. C. 95%. D. 10%. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Forecast accuracy equals 1. MAD divided by average demand times 100 equals 1. 10 divided by 200 times 100 equals 1 to 0.05 times 100 equals 95%. Let's begin with Module 4, Supply. Question 1. What is the primary role of the Master Production Schedule, MPS? A. Establish daily production line staffing. B. Break down aggregate plans into specific item-level plans. C. Forecast overall company revenue. D. Manage supplier payment terms. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The MPS translates the aggregate production plan into detailed schedules for individual products or product families. Question 2. A valid MPS must ensure that A. Scheduled production exceeds available capacity. B. Demand is matched exactly to production without flexibility. C. Material availability, capacity, and resource constraints are considered. D. All customer orders are scheduled first, then production levels adjusted. Correct answer. C. Explanation. A valid MPS is realistic, achievable within material and resource limits, and aligned with demand. Question 3. Which technique helps planners identify when projected available inventory will drop below zero? A. Cumulative lead time analysis. B. Time-phased record analysis. C. Available to promise, ADP check. D. Rough cut capacity planning. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Time-phased records track inventory balances over time to predict stockouts and plan replenishment. Question 4. Which item is typically not considered during master scheduling? A. Planned customer orders. B. Safety stock requirements. C. Workforce morale levels. D. Forecasted independent demand. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Master scheduling focuses on balancing supply and demand, not on employee satisfaction factors. Question 5. Available to promise, ADP, quantities are most useful for A. Confirming future supplier contracts. B. Informing customers of when products will be available. C. Calculating production lead times. D. Managing warehouse space allocation. Correct answer. B. Explanation. ADP represents inventory not yet committed, allowing firms to promise delivery dates confidently. Question 6. In a material requirements planning, MRP system, the explosion process refers to A. Scheduling supplier payments. B. Calculating dependent demand for components. C. Consolidating all work orders. D. Measuring safety stock levels. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Explosion calculates the requirements for all lower-level components based on the parent demand. Question 7. Which statement about MRP is true? A. It is most effective for services rather than manufacturing. B. It is only useful in make-to-order environments. C. It schedules based on gross requirements minus inventory and scheduled receipts. D. It ignores lead times when scheduling orders. Correct answer. C. Explanation. MRP nets available inventory and scheduled receipts against gross requirements to plan orders properly. Question 8. Which of the following would most likely trigger a rescheduling notice in MRP? A. Increase in lot size. B. Supplier changing the delivery date. C. Increased selling price of the finished product. D. Change in customer demographic. Correct answer, B. Explanation. MRP rescheduling notices occur when planned order timing needs adjustment due to supply changes. Question 9. Capacity requirements planning, CRP, is best described as A. A system to optimize supplier cost reductions. B. A validation of whether planned production can be executed given resource constraints. C. A method for determining future customer demand. D. A detailed financial cost accounting method. Correct answer, B. Explanation. CRP checks whether work centers have enough capacity to meet planned production schedules. Question 10. Which factor is least likely to influence capacity availability in a CRP analysis? A. Machine maintenance schedules. B. Forecast accuracy. C. Labor shift patterns. D. Machine downtime. Correct answer, B. Explanation. CRP focuses on operational resources, not forecast accuracy, which belongs to demand planning. Question 11. A primary output of CRP is A. Inventory turnover rate. B. Capacity load reports. C. Demand variability profiles. D. Supplier lead time reports. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Capacity load reports identify whether work centers are over or under capacity compared to the schedule. Question 12. What is the biggest risk if capacity is overloaded at a work center? A. Higher finished goods inventory. B. Decrease in operating expenses. C. Increase in lead times and late deliveries. D. Higher employee retention rates. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Overloaded capacity causes bottlenecks, increasing production delays and late deliveries. Question 13. In strategic supplier management, a partnership relationship typically includes A. Strict transactional bidding for every order. B. High price pressure and low collaboration. C. Shared goals, open communication, and joint problem solving. D. Supplier replacement every 6 months. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Partnerships foster long-term collaboration, information sharing, and shared risks and rewards. Question 14. Which purchasing practice reduces the risk of material shortages most effectively? A. Single sourcing. B. Spot market purchases. C. Dual or multiple sourcing. D. Long-term warehouse leasing. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Multiple sourcing reduces dependence on a single supplier and mitigates supply risks. Question 15. During the early growth stage of a product lifecycle, the master schedule should prioritize A. Reducing inventory levels aggressively. B. Keeping production flexible to meet fluctuating demand. C. Relying only on historical sales data. D. Minimizing production costs at all costs. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Early growth demand is unpredictable. Flexibility allows quick adjustment to customer uptake. Question 16. What typically triggers an engineering change notice, ECN? A. Excess finished goods inventory. B. A reduction in supplier prices. C. A design improvement or correction in a product. D. A scheduled preventive maintenance review. Correct answer, C. Explanation. ECNs are issued to document changes in product designs, materials, or manufacturing processes. Question 17. Which approach to supplier relationships is best suited for highly innovative product life cycles? A. Price-based selection. B. Long-term collaborative development. C. Minimal supplier involvement. D. Lowest cost, global sourcing only. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Innovation requires close collaboration with suppliers to design and deliver new products faster and better. Question 18. Which concept in supplier management emphasizes total cost of ownership, TCO, rather than just purchase price? A. Value engineering. B. Collaborative forecasting. C. Spend analysis. D. Strategic sourcing. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Strategic sourcing evaluates full life cycle costs, including acquisition, operation, and disposal, not just purchase price. Question 19. In a mature phase of the product life cycle, the main production strategy is usually A. Produce to order. B. Chase demand fluctuations aggressively. C. Maximize efficiency and minimize cost. D. Launch significant product redesigns. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Mature products face stable but competitive markets, requiring cost control and efficient production. Question 20. Which of the following actions best supports product phase-out planning in supply chain management? A. Increase forecasted inventory sharply. B. Delay communication of product end of life. C. Plan inventory depletion while supporting service parts requirements. D. Immediately discontinue all supplier contracts. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Phase-out planning requires balancing final product inventory needs and ongoing service obligations. Let's take a quick break. Now's the perfect time to show some love. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this video. Your support keeps us fired up and ready to keep bringing you more awesome content. Let's begin with Module 5, Detailed Schedules. Question 1. In detailed scheduling, the primary constraint that limits how early a job can be scheduled is A. Machine setup time. B. Material availability. C. Operator overtime policies. D. Packaging capacity. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Jobs cannot be scheduled earlier than the availability of required materials, making material availability a critical constraint. Question 2. Which scheduling method focuses on starting the production process as late as possible while still meeting the due date? A. Forward scheduling. B. Infinite loading. C. Backward scheduling. D. Bottleneck scheduling. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Backward scheduling plans production starting from the due date, aiming to minimize in-process inventory. Question 3. Which method allows capacity to be exceeded in planning to generate a realistic schedule? A. Finite loading. B. Forward scheduling. C. Backward scheduling. D. Infinite loading. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Infinite loading assumes infinite capacity, generating schedules without considering actual resource limits. Question 4. Which PAC, production activity control, technique focuses on synchronizing the rate of production with the rate of customer demand? A. Forward scheduling. B. Theory of constraints. C. Drum buffer rope. D. Critical chain method. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Drum buffer rope regulates production flow based on the constrained capacity to maintain smooth operations and meet demand. Question 5. A job shop uses forward scheduling and receives a rush order that must be delivered earlier than the scheduled date. Which action is most appropriate? A. Reject the order immediately. B. Forward schedule the job without changes. C. Resequence jobs to prioritize the rush order. D. Increase inventory to accommodate the order later. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Resequencing allows the rush job to be completed on time without ignoring existing commitments. Question 6. In production scheduling, a Gantt chart is most useful for A. Forecasting future demand. B. Scheduling customer appointments. C. Visualizing the sequence and timing of tasks. D. Allocating financial resources. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Gantt charts show the timeline for activities, helping planners track progress and adjust sequences visually. Question 7. Which dispatching rule gives priority to the job that requires the shortest processing time first? A. Earliest due date, EDD. B. Shortest processing time, SPT. C. First come, first served, FCFS. D. Critical ratio, CR. Correct answer. B. Explanation. SPT rule processes jobs with the shortest processing time first to minimize overall completion time and work-in-process inventory. Question 8. If a bottleneck resource is fully loaded while non-bottleneck resources are underutilized, the most immediate scheduling action should be A. Increase the bottleneck's throughput. B. Decrease production batch sizes. C. Reduce the number of available shifts. D. Expand inventory buffers at non-bottleneck stations. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Improving bottleneck throughput is key because the overall system output is limited by the bottleneck's capacity. Question 9. Which of the following most often triggers rescheduling of material releases? A. Change in supplier's price. B. Machine downtime in production. C. New customer requirements. D. Reduction in sales department staff. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Unexpected downtime affects the entire production flow, requiring adjustments to material releases to match revised schedules. Question 10. Which technique would a scheduler use to calculate the latest possible time materials must be released to meet production start dates? A. Rough cut capacity planning, RCCP. B. Material explosion analysis. C. Lead time offset scheduling. D. Time bucket scheduling. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Lead time offset scheduling determines when materials must be available by working backward from the production start date using lead times. Let's begin with Module 6, Inventory Management. Question 1. Which inventory strategy is best for minimizing stockout risk while maintaining lower average inventory levels? A. Periodic review system. B. Just-in-time inventory. C. Safety stock optimization. D. Fixed order quantity. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Optimized safety stock ensures protection against variability while keeping overall inventory levels efficient. Question 2. When setting reorder points, which two factors must be considered most critically? A. Supplier discounts and product shelf life. B. Lead time and demand variability. C. Labor costs and transportation mode. D. Production efficiency and cash flow. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Reorder points are determined based on lead time and demand variability to avoid stockouts. Question 3. Carrying costs typically include which of the following? A. Purchase discounts lost. B. Order placement labor. C. Storage, insurance, and obsolescence costs. D. Machine downtime due to shortages. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Carrying costs refer to expenses related to holding inventory, including storage, insurance, depreciation, and risk of obsolescence. Question 4. Which cost would increase if inventory turnover decreases significantly? A. Transportation cost. B. Obsolescence cost. C. Setup cost. D. Stockout cost. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Low turnover means inventory remains unsold longer, increasing the risk and cost of obsolescence. Question 5. If a company's annual carrying cost rate is 25% and the average inventory value is $500,000, what is the estimated carrying cost per year? A. $125,000. B. $250,000. C. $25,000. D. $75,000. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Carrying cost equals average inventory value times carrying cost rate equals $500,000 times 0.25 equals $125,000. Question 6. In ABC analysis, which category typically represents the smallest percentage of items, but the highest percentage of inventory value? A. Items. B. Items. C. Items. D. Items. Correct answer. A. Explanation. A. Items are the few critical products that contribute most heavily to inventory value and require close control. Question 7. Which inventory management technique would be most appropriate for low-value, high-volume items? A. Fixed order interval. B. Just-in-time delivery. C. Periodic review with high allowable variation. D. Continuous review with strict reorder points. Correct answer. C. Explanation. For low-value, high-volume items, periodic review with flexible control tolerances is usually sufficient and cost-effective. Question 8. Which of the following best describes cycle counting? A. Annual wall-to-wall physical inventory. B. Sampling a portion of inventory regularly to verify records. C. Monthly financial reconciliation of all inventory assets. D. Reordering raw materials based on production schedules. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Cycle counting verifies inventory accuracy through frequent sampling rather than full physical counts, maintaining better ongoing accuracy. Question 9. A company experiences frequent excess inventory at year-end. Which inventory control practice would most likely address the problem? A. Increase forecast quantities across the board. B. Shorten planning lead times and improve forecast accuracy. C. Increase safety stock for critical items. D. Implement first-in, first-out FIFO material flow. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Improving forecast accuracy and reducing planning lead times reduces excess buildup by aligning inventory with actual demand. Question 10. In a two-bin inventory system, the second bin is typically used for A. Overflow storage. B. Emergency supplier orders. C. Buffer stock to cover replenishment lead time. D. Handling returns and rework. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The second bin holds buffer stock intended to cover the demand during the replenishment lead time after the first bin empties. Let's begin with Module 7, Distribution Management. Question 1. In distribution planning, the primary objective of network design is to A. Maximize number of distribution centers regardless of cost. B. Minimize customer service levels to reduce complexity. C. Balance cost, speed, and service to meet customer needs efficiently. D. Focus only on domestic supply chain elements. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Distribution network design seeks an optimal balance between cost, service levels, and delivery speed across markets. Question 2. A decentralized distribution network is most likely to result in A. Higher transportation costs but faster delivery times. B. Lower inventory carrying costs at the expense of slower delivery. C. Uniform pricing across all regions. D. Reduced need for regional warehouses. Correct answer. A. Explanation. More local warehouses enable faster deliveries, but increase transportation and operating costs. Question 3. Which metric best evaluates a distribution system's efficiency? A. Product defect rate. B. Inventory turnover at distribution centers. C. New product introduction rate. D. Forecast bias percentage. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Inventory turnover reflects how effectively inventory moves through the distribution system, minimizing holding costs. Question 4. In replenishment management, the primary goal of the order point system is to A. Reduce transportation lead times. B. Minimize safety stock across all warehouses. C. Trigger orders when inventory falls below a set threshold. D. Increase manufacturing flexibility. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The order point system automatically triggers replenishment orders when on-hand stock reaches a predefined level. Question 5. In a pull-based replenishment system, which element most strongly drives restocking decisions? A. Supplier production schedules. B. Customer consumption rates. C. Warehouse picking efficiency. D. Inventory carrying cost targets. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Pull systems replenish inventory based directly on actual consumption, aligning supply with real-time demand. Question 6. Which replenishment strategy would be most appropriate for high-value, low-volume products? A. Vendor-managed inventory, VMI. B. Continuous replenishment. C. Periodic review. D. Just-in-time inventory, JIT. Correct answer, D. Explanation. JIT is ideal for expensive items where holding inventory is costly, delivering exactly when needed. Question 7. According to the waste hierarchy, which waste management practice is prioritized as most preferred? A. Incineration with energy recovery. B. Landfilling. C. Recycling and composting. D. Waste prevention. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Waste prevention is the most desirable step in the hierarchy, avoiding waste creation altogether. Question 8. In reverse logistics, which of the following is the biggest operational challenge companies typically face? A. Over-forecasting customer demand. B. Managing inconsistent return flows. C. Negotiating initial purchase agreements. D. Forecasting raw material availability. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Reverse flows are unpredictable and vary widely in volume and condition, complicating planning and logistics. Question 9. Which best defines closed-loop supply chain management? A. Focusing exclusively on minimizing carbon emissions. B. Moving products forward to customers only. C. Integrating forward logistics and reverse logistics for value recovery. D. Establishing fixed customer loyalty programs. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Closed-loop systems manage both product delivery and recovery, aiming to maximize resource reuse and minimize waste. Question 10. When evaluating product take-back programs as part of reverse logistics, which factor is most important for determining overall success? A. Initial sales forecast accuracy. B. End-of-life product recovery rate. C. Average inventory carrying cost. D. Average transportation lead time. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The recovery rate measures how effectively end-of-life products are collected for recycling, reuse, or proper disposal. Let's begin with Module 8, Quality, Technology, and Continuous Improvement. Question 1. Which of the following best describes the principle of fitness for use in quality management? A. Products must match competitor specifications exactly. B. Products must meet design specifications regardless of customer needs. C. Products must satisfy actual customer requirements in their intended environment. D. Products must minimize internal production costs above all. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Fitness for use means products or services meet the real needs and expectations of customers in the way they are used. Question 2. Which quality management approach emphasizes prevention of defects rather than inspection after production? A. Total Quality Management, TQM. B. Six Sigma. C. Acceptance Sampling. D. Statistical Process Control, SPC. Correct answer. A. Explanation. TQM focuses on building quality into processes to prevent defects rather than detecting them after they occur. Question 3. In Statistical Process Control, SPC, a process is considered out of control when A. The production cost exceeds the budget. B. Points fall outside control limits or show non-random patterns. C. The process mean matches the target exactly. D. Customers return products for refunds. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Out-of-control processes show unusual variation, indicating that special causes, not just random variation, are affecting performance. Question 4. Which metric best measures the long-term ability of a process to produce defect-free output? A. Process lead time. B. Process capability index, CPK. C. Cycle time. D. Throughput efficiency. Correct answer. B. Explanation. CPK measures how consistently a process can produce within specification limits, considering process variability. Question 5. In supply chain operations, the primary benefit of adopting manufacturing execution systems, MES, is A. Increasing raw material availability. B. Reducing the need for employee training. C. Real-time tracking and control of shop floor operations. D. Accelerating product development cycles. Correct answer. C. Explanation. MES provides real-time visibility and control over manufacturing activities, improving efficiency and traceability. Question 6. Which technology best supports predictive maintenance in manufacturing operations? A. Electronic Data Interchange, EDI. B. Internet of Things, IoT sensors. C. Automated Guided Vehicles, AGVs. D. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing. Correct answer. B. Explanation. IoT sensors monitor equipment conditions and predict failures before they occur, reducing downtime. Question 7. In a continuous improvement culture, what is the main advantage of using small, incremental changes over large, radical changes? A. Immediate major cost savings. B. Reduced employee engagement. C. Lower risk and easier implementation. D. Faster certification to ISO 9001 standards. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Small, continuous improvements are easier to test, adopt, and sustain, reducing disruption and risk. Question 8. Which continuous improvement methodology is based on removing activities that do not add value from the customer's perspective? A. Theory of constraints. B. Benchmarking. C. Lean. D. Control charts. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Lean focuses on eliminating waste, non-value-added activities, to improve flow and value delivery. Question 9. Which of the following best defines a Kaizen event? A. A multi-month strategic planning session. B. A rapid, focused, team-driven improvement project. C. A supplier negotiation meeting. D. A new product launch conference. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Kaizen events are short-term efforts by cross-functional teams aimed at solving specific operational problems quickly. Question 10. In Six Sigma, which measure reflects the number of defects per million opportunities, DPMO? A. Cycle time reduction. B. Cost of poor quality, COPQ. C. Sigma level. D. Takt time. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Sigma level indicates how many standard deviations fit between the process mean and the nearest specification limit, correlating with DPMO. Thanks so much for sticking with me until the end. I'm really glad to have you here. Don't forget to check the description below for links to all the study materials. You'll find everything you need to succeed. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support the content and brings more valuable resources your way. Until next time, keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next module.